Hey Maurits, thanks so much for joining. You're the VP of Monetization for Europe and Indonesia for Ahold Delhaize. Can you tell us a little bit about that role?
So to begin with, thanks for having me, of course. And maybe it's good to explain about Ahold Delhaize. We're one of the largest retail companies in the world, which is mainly groceries. Now, my role, my scope is Europe and Indonesia. That is mainly Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, and then there's the Czech Republic, Serbia, Romania, and Greece. And then, of course, Indonesia. Most of that is grocery business, but in the Netherlands and Belgium, we also hold the leading e-commerce platform, which is bol.com.
Excellent. So, you're clearly a very seasoned executive. Tell us a little bit about the path that got you to this sort of key retail media role within Ahold Delhaize.
Well, started off on the other side of the table, actually. So worked for CPG multinationals in Northwestern Europe for about 20 years. At Heinz and Essity. And afterwards, I worked at a Benelux publisher, Sanoma, where I headed up a large consumer app and worked with data and media. And over the last 5 years, I worked in retailing in Europe at Ahold Delhaize. First 3 years heading up the retail media business of Albert Heijn. And now for the last 2 years with the scope of Europe and Indonesia.
Okay, so you've got that sort of almost like perfect blend of advertiser, supplier, and agency media and retail experience. So tell us a little bit about some of the successes that you've been having or are having at Ahold Delhaize.
Well, yeah, first of all, I should say is that I only had modest contributions. Yeah, so it's like everything in life. The more you learn about something, the better you understand all the stuff that still needs to happen or still needs to be understood. But what we're trying to do is that we're trying to raise the bar in advertising. And for the different stakeholders, that would be, well, first of all, for consumers. If you would walk into our head office here in Zaandam in the Netherlands, close to Amsterdam, you would see a statue that our founder gave when he retired. And it's a statue of a housewife with grocery bags. And then on the bottom, it says, "Thou shall never forget who we work for." So the biggest and most important stakeholder that we have is our consumer. It's her, it's the housewife. So first and foremost, and for her, what we've realized is relevance and protecting privacy. And then for advertisers, or for the retail media industry, you could say is that one of the things that we're proud of is that we have been trying to lead the professionalization of retail media. And we also made first steps in standardization and are a very active member of IAB Europe, as we are in the States. Also, we've had the long-term separation of retail media from the trade relations. Mm-hmm. We've opened up to non-endemics this year. Non-endemic advertisers. We were the first in the world to have ROPO live, so research online, purchase offline, to have omni-channel closed-loop measurements. And we are particularly proud of all the joint surfing lessons that we've had together with our advertisers on the third wave of digital media. And then last but not least, of course, the stakeholder is our own company, and we've had additional profitable growth to fund a better customer experience, again, for the consumers, and which has eventually led to a leading retail media network position that we have in Europe.
No, it's fantastic. You're clearly one of the global leaders in retail media, and you've got a remit across multiple geographies. What are some of the challenges that you're facing?
Well, that would be in raising the bar in advertising in terms of standardization. Yeah, so how are we going to avoid that advertisers end up with a patchwork of walled gardens, with every retailer having its own metrics, its own definitions, its own formats, and what have you? Secondly, it's about targeting and measurement. The expectations that are out there in the market, because everybody, can imagine the great possibilities, specifically in closed loop that we have. And then also balancing that, of course, with the highest privacy standards. And And last but not least, definitely a challenge is finding and educating the right talent. There are not many people that have a background that covers, all the sides of the table. So how does an advertiser work? How does that work with a retailer? And what's the role that publishers have and media agencies? And then on top of that, you would want to find talent that is also tech savvy. Because we've made the advertising business very, very complex and technical over the last 20 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's great. Now, at the summit, you're leading the session that's called "Measuring What Matters." It's a big topic of high importance to retailers, and of course, very high importance to advertisers. So we can no doubt anticipate a really good discussion and debate. But what are some of the key themes that you're hoping to draw out during your keynote?
Well, I will do it, as said, do a short keynote that will be on Delhaize and on our retail media measurement. And afterwards, I will also participate in a panel discussion. And moreover, I will explain the link between superstar athlete pole vaulter Mondo Duplantis and our retail media. So make sure to be there to find out.
Absolutely. Well, who can resist that? So fantastic. Really look forward to hearing you on the 14th and discussing in more detail. And Maurits, thanks so much indeed for joining us today.
Okay, let's make sure that we all have joint surfing lessons more. Yeah.
Love it. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thank you very much.